But first, the Democrats' destructive agenda. It is wreaking havoc all across the country, and that has never been more readily apparent than with this week's Schumer shutdown. And everyone needs to understand one fundamental truth about why we are in this position, because this goes directly against every single solitary publicly stated position Chucky has taken during his long career over decades. He is only doing this to try to appease the radical wing of the Democratic Party. In other words, the real leaders of the Democratic Party. Grandpa Bernie, Pocahontas, AOC, the Squad, Jasmine Crockett, and, of course, their new hero, communist, commie, Marxist Zoran Mamdani. And the most pathetic part for Schumer is this will make no difference. The radicals now holding the Democratic Party hostage, they hate Schumer. They'll continue to hate Schumer. He's at a 17% approval rating. This is his last rodeo. Earlier this week, AOC even told Republicans, go negotiate with her in her office. That sparked outrage from Nancy Pelosi. Make no mistake, Schumer, Jeffries, just like Pelosi, the old leaders of the Democratic Party, they are only leaders in name only, being held hostage by the radical wing of their party, and they're scared to death. The Democrats have completely lost their way. They've jumped the shark. And if you need any more proof of any of this, look no further than their pathetic attempts to spin the Schumer shutdown. Earlier this week, Hakeem Jeffries hosted a live stream on his YouTube page featuring Democratic lawmakers, influencers, some that even had like 13, 14 million followers. But according to Politico reporter Adam Wren, the bizarre stunt failed miserably. Cringeworthy moments. At times, only a few dozen people watching. People know the Democrats are radicalized. And while Democrats are struggling to form any cohesive messaging other than flat out lying to all of you, House Speaker Mike Johnson, he's out there all over the place, telling the truth, setting the record straight, attacking Chuck Schumer for caving to the radical wing of his party. Take a look.
Chuck Schumer, who leads the Democrats, is terrified that he's not going to win back his Senate seat. He's afraid that the Marxist far-left corner of his base is going to challenge him in New York. Maybe many of you have noticed New York is probably going to elect a Marxist for mayor. He's terrified by that development. Chuck Schumer is a far-left progressive politician, but he's not far enough left for this base. And so he's got to show a fight against the president. He's got to show that he's fighting Republicans. We're limited government conservatives. We think the government's too big. We think the federal government is too big. It does too many things, and it does almost nothing well. And so it serves the taxpayers to send less of their hard-earned money to Washington and keep more in their pockets. That's what we're advancing through the One Big Beautiful Bill and all the legislative priorities that we achieve. But see, sometimes Democrats, not sometimes, all the time, Democrats don't agree with that because they love big government. I mean, listen to them. They want the government to control every aspect of your lives, and they need all of your hard-earned dollars to do that. In fact, they'd like to take them all. That's what the socialists are arguing for. That's what the Marxists believe.
Now, during that same presser earlier today, Speaker Johnson also laid out everyone being hurt by the Schumer shutdown, showing America just how destructive the Schumer shutdown is and how Schumer's kowtowing to the far left, how impactful it is in a negative way to the country. Take a look.
Who's getting hurt? Women, infants, and children, nutrition programs that are now stalled. Veterans' health services that will not be provided. People who are low-income Medicare recipients who receive telehealth and health treatment at home. Many of those programs are not being funded. We have troops and TSA agents and Border Patrol agents who are working without pay, protecting the country. And you have FEMA services, health insurance policies, for example, that are being stalled in the middle of a hurricane season because the Democrats want to play political games and try to obscure the real facts at issue.
All right, but the biggest issue at play this week is the left's big lie claiming, oh, the shutdown has nothing to do with your hard-earned taxpayer dollars funding health care for illegal immigrants. Make no mistake, they have been lying to you all week. Every American's been lied to about this issue. Last night we showed you the exact language in their proposed spending plan that would have allowed your taxpayer dollars to fund health care for illegals. You know, people that don't respect our laws, our border, our sovereignty. Again, earlier today, Speaker Johnson laid it out in no uncertain terms. This is the truth you won't see in the legacy media mob. Take a look.
Page 57, section 2141. You see the highlighted language. There's a lot of legalese in this legislation, in these bills, but it says that they want to repeal the health subtitle changes. What does that refer to? You read down here, Public Law 119-21. That's the one big beautiful bill. That's the American Families Tax Cut. Some of the most important provisions in that law was that it eliminated fraud and abuse of our health system. Medicaid has been rife with fraud and abuse, and so we reformed it. Why? To help provide more and better health services for the American people. By the CBO's estimate, about 1.4 million illegal aliens were receiving Medicaid benefits that were intended only for U.S. citizens that met the categories I just described. So we did the common sense thing, the right thing, the just thing, and we put it in the law, and the president signed that, gladly signed it into law. They want to repeal it. They want to give those resources back to illegal aliens. That's exactly what that highlighted language means. So you see the final total there, $192.8 billion of your hard-earned taxpayer dollars that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats want to give back to illegal aliens. That's a fact, and nobody can refute it.
All right, it's a tipping point for the country. You talk about a midterm that's going to be important. This is the biggest choice election, imperative midterm coming up in 26 in our lifetime. This is what we are up against. The Democrats, they want a whopping $1.5 trillion new government funding to refund NPR, PBS, allow your hard-earned money to support health care for illegals. They want $1.5 trillion to fund the government for a mere 7 weeks. Now, Democrats, they have made a colossal miscalculation because the shutdown has now allowed Republicans and Donald Trump to get to work dismantling the bloated bureaucracy that Washington has become, the one that's bankrupting the country, the one that's robbing your kids' and grandkids' future. Earlier today, President Trump posted an AI-generated video depicting OMB Director Russ Vought as the Grim Reaper, signaling that major spending cuts and cuts to dysfunctional bureaucratic systems are coming. By the way, a lot of these jobs may not be coming back if they are deemed unnecessary. The government is bloated, too big, too out of control, too bureaucratic. And after Hakeem Jeffries awkwardly tried to dodge questions about whether members of Congress would continue to be paid before Jasmine Crockett confirmed that they would, well, Ohio Republican Senator Bernie Moreno, he introduced legislation to impose a tax on lawmakers that would eat away at their paychecks if there's a government shutdown that continues. Now, the Democratic Party is being held hostage by the new leaders of their party. This is the radicalized, Marxist, Mamdani, socialist left, and the squad and the Green New Deal Democrats and their destructive agenda, which would wreak havoc across the country. So the Schumer shutdown, which is nothing more than a desperate ploy by Chucky to appease this crazy base, because he is blinded by his diminishing power and blinded by his political ambition, continues.